everybody. Today we're going to do an upper body sequence that also utilizes very much the core, that is entirely done with our own body weight. So no hand weights in today's sequence at all. It's going to be quick, effective, and it is all about planking. So if you know that planking is not your best friend yet, or if for any reason due to injury you know that it's not a good place for you to be, this segment probably isn't the one to choose today, and you could go back to a previous upper body segment with hand weights. But even if you're a novice at planks, I'm going to give you options. These are exercises that I love, and they are highly effective. So we will assume that we've done a little bit of warm-up, some toe taps, some bridging, a little bit of spinal twists, things like that will help to warm your core up, and we're going to get right into it. So we're going to start on our forearms for this first exercise. So you're down with your elbows right underneath your shoulders, and they're about shoulder distance apart. We're going to start on our knees. So I want you to walk each knee back about 6-7 inches, and then pull your feet up away from the floor. Sometimes people come here, but that puts you right on your kneecaps. So we want to pull the heels into the hips, which brings us forward of our kneecaps. Now, in this particular plank, you don't want to tuck the pelvis under and drop it toward the floor, nor do you want to be pushing it up toward the ceiling. So the spine should feel parallel to your mat, okay? And we're going to start with space across the chest, space across the upper back, so we don't feel like we're dropping down, nor are we rounding up. Everything feels even. And then from here, you're breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You're just going to take your chest, bring it down 1 inch. You'll feel your shoulder blades move toward the spine, and then lift it back up to where you started. Feel the shoulder blades separate again. So it's an inhale down 1 inch, exhale up 1 inch. Inhale down 1 inch, exhale up 1 inch. Inhale, exhale, keeping the head right in line with the spine. Now, if you prefer, or if you choose, you can curl the toes under, find a full plank, and continue with the same exercise. Because my core is quite sore today, I'm going to stay on my knees for 4, 3, 2 more. Make sure you're just coming up to neutral, where the chest sits between the shoulders. Last one. And quick little child's pose, or any other stretch or position that you enjoy. Breathe, let your body relax. Arms can be out in front, they can wrap around your sides. You can customize this. Give yourself a chance to get out of the shoulders and the wrists. So we're coming back to that forearm plank for this next exercise. Now, elbows go right underneath the shoulders again. We walk the knees back, pulling the heels toward the hips. We make sure the shoulders are right over the elbows and the spine is parallel to the floor. So if you know right now that you need to stay on your knees to build your strength in plank, you're just going to hold and breathe, and your focus is on keeping your chest right between your shoulders. If you can take a full plank on the balls of the feet, we're going to do a little rock. Forward and back, forward and back. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We don't do too many of these because they're effective and they work really fast. We have just 2 more. Wherever we are, we're building strength. We know that. Hold your plank. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and child's pose. The nice thing is we get a lot of breaks in this sequence. So those exercises that we just did, they're going to work your shoulders, they're going to work your back, They're going to work your chest, so you're getting a lot of upper body bang for your buck with those particular exercises. Next, we're going to come onto our side, into a side plank. So I'm going to come onto my left side, and I'm going to bring my forearm down again. And my elbow is going to be right underneath my shoulder, or just a hair on the outside. What we don't want to do is tuck the shoulder in, or tuck the elbow in rather, because that's automatically going to lead to distress on the shoulder itself. So make sure the elbow is either right underneath or just a little bit on the outside. So we're going to start with both knees bent. Very first thing you want to do is make sure you're not dropping down. So the ribs down, the shoulder pressing up by the ear. Instead, we're going to push this elbow and forearm into the floor, release the shoulder away from the ear, and automatically lift through the rib cage. So from here, reach your free arm up toward the ceiling, and then hover your hips. And this could be option one. We just stay right here and we hold it. Now, option two, without letting the shoulder creep toward the ear, so we're still pressing down through this forearm, we're going to lower the hips down an inch, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You're going to feel your side body, side core working really hard, but you should also feel your shoulder, and you're going to feel your back on this side. We're not even going to add any bells and whistles today because this is effective. Just one more. Lift the hips and hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. If you need to, go ahead and shake out that bottom arm a little bit. Let's turn to face the other way. Coming down to the forearm, making sure the elbow is right underneath the shoulder or just a hair on the outside. Remember, we don't want to be dropping down. Instead, we're pressing through this forearm and elbow, shoulder down, lifted center. Reach the free arm up toward the ceiling. Lift the hips up toward the ceiling as well. And then through the hips, we go down an inch, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch. Always pressing down through the bottom elbow, through the forearm to engage the shoulder, to engage the back. Good. Use that exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. Let's do 4, 3, 2 more. Hold the next one at the top. Lift those hips. Press down through the arm. Hold 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Last exercise. This is a quick little target. We're going to come to a seated position. So your legs are extended out in front of you with a bent knee, foot flat. You're going to take your hands and just make little L's with your thumb and your index finger. Bring those L's out in front of you, and then simply sweep your arms back and set them down on the floor. So your thumbs should be pointing toward your hips, but your 4 fingers are angled toward the corners of the room. We don't want to turn those fingers into the pelvis. It rounds the shoulders. So once we're in place, I'm going to have you walk your feet in a little closer to you so that you can actively push them into the floor. And then the very first thing we're going to do is roll the shoulders back and down, and then press into the hands to lengthen the spine. So we don't want to be rounded and slumped. We want to be really nice and long. Hips are going to stay on the floor to begin, and we're going to soften the elbows. Down an inch, press up an inch. Down an inch and up an inch. Inhale and exhale. So I am obviously using my triceps. I'm bending my elbows, which is the only reason my torso is moving. But my real focus is on keeping my chest open. so that my shoulders don't start to creep forward and I don't start to round. Let's do 2 more. Good. And then hold this position here. Now, only if you think you can keep the chest open. That's our caveat for this. We can take the hips, hover them just above the floor. Make sure your shoulders are sitting right on top of your wrists. And then same thing, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch. Very often you'll see people lower their hips and round their shoulders. That's not what we want. The only reason the hips move at all is because the elbows are bending. So if you notice you're doing something other than proper form, bring those hips back down to the mat. Continue to focus on opening up your chest. Wherever you are, it's 4, 3, 2. Now, hold with long arms. If your hips were on the floor, maybe you bring them up to the hover. Open up the chest. If you like, take the hips, press them up toward the ceiling. So heels are under the knees. Wrists are underneath the shoulders. And we hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Quick little stretch release. Just come to a cross-legged position. Arms forward, laced fingers, flip the palms, press forward as you round through the upper to mid back. Let the shoulder blades draw away from the center. The more you're able to push through the heels of your hands, the more that stretch is going to travel out into your triceps. Go ahead and twist your upper body to the left and push forward a little more through the heel of the right hand. Good, and relax as you come through center. Twist your torso to the right. Push forward through the heel of the left hand. Breathing all the time, of course. Come center, press forward one more time. Draw those shoulder blades apart. And then release your hands. Flip the palms outward as you come upright. Sweep the arms back behind you. Lift the gaze. Open up the chest. Option 1. Option 2, flip the hands down to the floor. Soften the elbows. Press up and open here. Option 3, if you want it, lace the fingers. You just need to be able to bring the heels of the hands together because we don't want this shape happening at the wrist. And then aim the